And
It's somebody out there that quit. It's somebody out there that want to do what you're doing, and it's somebody out there that can't with you. So you gotta have your foot on the pedal every single time. Just look back at what you did. That's all that matters.
I got to get it by any means necessary, because if I don't do it, who will?
As a young black man, it's like you want to be Superman. You want to be. It's not even because everybody will see you as Superman. It's because that's what you naturally have in your heart. But boy, that's draining, boy.
It is. But I know I've changed people's lives genuinely, whether that's on or off camera, or even if they're sitting across from me. So like I said, like, I know my power. So it's like, once I remove myself from that branch is going to eventually fall off on its own.
For instance, like I've seen you recently say that social media gotta work, right?
Right.
So how can you advise the next person and be like, this just ain't for you, but you have the mindset that it's gonna work for you? How are you able to differentiate the two?
First of all, you
Welcome to another episode of Trail Truths Podcast. Today I have a familiar face as my guest today. Y'all have seen me on his podcast. He has been on my podcast. This is the person that gave me my first interview ever. So without further more introduction, go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Nathan Lindor, What Will I Think of Podcast, Top Track Vibes, SOB, you know the story. Before Trey get into his spiel, I want to give him his flowers. Since I met this guy, he been putting in work, like I said before, and I'm proud of the growth he has, did throughout the process. He's been doing a lot of work, even been motivating me, and we're gonna touch on a lot of different things throughout this podcast that I want to share with him, because he been holding me accountable, motivating me hand in hand. So let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know how I start off every episode as far as in checking on people's mental health, but I got a spin for this particular episode. Since we both are podcasters, I basically want to tap into like, off the mic. So if cameras were to break, microphones were to break, and we probably couldn't have our podcast anymore, how would you describe your internal feelings right now as a man?
It's been tough. Last time I wasn't kind of like open as I am now, with like my like mild depression, anxiety. But I just find ways every day to like grow and change. The last time everybody seen me on this platform, I wasn't as healed as I am now. Um, I have a therapist now, so that helps me throughout the process, and just trying to, find ways through the storm, if that makes sense.
Hmm. But what specifically is going on? What do you feel like you healed from?
Just the past traumas that I went through, thinking people don't care, just knowing that there's a bigger part in my life that hasn't been discovered, and that I have more to learn, and I'm growing every single day.
Mhm, for sure. So what do you feel like, what has gave you that sense of mind or that sense of, feeling that people actually care now? What is the difference between then and now?
Um, when you isolate yourself from a certain point, it just your silence speak more volumes than your presence. So when I isolated myself from the pack, it made people respect me a lot more, and it showed. It was kind of like, I don't want to put it like this, but this the best example I can give. It's like faking your own death,
Mhm,
in a sense to where it's like you kind of like separate yourself, and then people yearn for you. They want you more because you're not around as much. You're not as accessible.
mhm.
When I first came and sat down with you, I was a lot more accessible to people.
Yeah.
I isolated myself to where made myself less accessible,
Mhm,
which was traveling, seeing different things, not being around a lot more. I was more out of town.
mhm. So what were, because you basically talking about the pros of the situation, but what were the cons? Because I know with isolation comes a lot of challenges. With isolation comes a lot of problems, and some things are outside of your control. To
Right.
where it's like you want to do you, so you'll be able to provide and be yourself with other people. But in that process of doing for you, people start to see like, damn, like, okay, he probably don't fuck with me no more. Like, damn, like it ain't the same no more. So how did you balance that?
You gotta believe in your process and your truth.
Mhm,
You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
You gotta believe in that. You gotta understand your purpose and your goal is bigger than a lot of things because I was kinda like, in a sense, because I speak from my own truth, and a lot of people not gonna say this out loud, but Imma say it. You get jealous of your friends.
Mhm,
You get envious. You think because they're doing stuff that you're not doing, you think they're doing better than you. It was at one point I felt everybody just left me for dead, so I had to find ways, like I said, self-evaluation. I had to find ways in myself, what was I doing wrong, and why wasn't I trusted in my process? And throughout that process, I realized my message is for longevity, not for right now. So even though it's not hitting right now, or the numbers ain't what it's supposed to be, or things ain't what people make it out to be,
mhm.
it'll pass on for years and years. Cause like I say, us sitting here, this gonna live on forever. Even
For
after
sure.
we're long and gone, they're gonna be listening to this. So that's what I had to realize throughout the process.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a journey to every decision and action we make in life. It may happen instant, it may not. And I'm kind of grateful that, I have a little bit of grace with myself because before I didn't, but now I do. Just understanding that, each day I come up here, each day I do anything in life, it's still progress. Like even if I fuck up, it's still progress because I'm learning from that fuck up. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's good to hear that you better though, bro, because we talk all the time.
Yeah, we definitely do.
We
That's
talk
my
all the
guy right here.
time, and we always hold each other accountable. But to know that, as a man, as a brother, you're doing well. That's good to hear because
Right.
sometimes we always just keep it about the podcast. Sometimes it is personal, but to actually see you get up here and, tell a little bit of what you've been going through and how you've grown from it, it'll be good and it'll impact somebody else. So my next question to you is, I never asked you this, I don't think not once. What is the, I want to say message behind your name? What do you think people are all thinking? Because I feel like for that name to ring to you and for that to be stamped with you for all these years and all this time, it's a deeper message that people truly don't understand. So what do you think everybody is truly thinking?
Well, everybody has, because I kind of gave it like its own life in a sense. And when I sit across from somebody, or when I'm even doing my solo episodes,
Mhm,
I'm talking about the stuff people don't want to talk about. Or I'm asking the questions people want to know that they're scared to ask, because
mhm,
I always see myself as a journalist. So I always wanted to ask the questions that people are essentially scared to ask.
mhm,
And it got me through. It got me the answers I wanted to have. And it also, even for me, like on the last solo episode, I even, challenge myself when it comes to the solo episodes, because I talk about stuff people don't want to talk about. And I'm also talking about stuff that I wasn't prone to talk about because of you.
yeah,
I watched you do solo episodes, and I was doing solo episodes too, but I wasn't believing in it as much.
yeah,
So I was like, how I'm what wild thing a podcast, and I'm not asking what the people want to know or what they're thinking in their brain. So
mhm.
that's just the story behind the name.
Yeah, for sure. So I heard you a little bit say, talking about what people probably don't want to say out loud and what people are really thinking. But through just discussing that, and what I mean, take away from what everybody else thinking. What are you really thinking? Like, you know what I mean? Because you have your own lenses, which is your eyes, and you have your own beliefs, which is, whatever you believe in. But what are you thinking that people need to actually do? What are you thinking that people need to be talking about?
Um, Mental health, that's the biggest thing. I've been touching on that a lot, whether that's on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you know, I'm touching on that. That's like the biggest thing. Financial stability,
Mhm.
um, and just overall good health.
Yeah.
I've been in the gym a lot more. The last time I keep referring back to the last episode that we did because I was very unhealthy at that time. If you can see, face was bloated. I was looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? But me going to the gym, me getting my financial and working on my mental health, sitting with a therapist and actually getting all those those three things together, it has helped me a lot. Even the way I talk, the way I move, the way I answer questions, the way I talk to people, even on the outside without cameras,
Yeah.
I'm more genuine. Because people can tell when you're not genuine. People can
Sure.
smell when you're not healthy.
Mhm.
So I try my best to like focus on those things.
For sure. And through all of that, what is the biggest lesson that you learned?
Take pride in yourself. Take pride in your image, whether that's on and off camera. And it's all about you at the end of the day, because like I said before, um, you go down there by yourself. Nobody go down there with you. There's not
Mhm.
a casket built with two. there's single caskets. So
Caskets don't have bunk beds.
yeah, so you gotta make sure whatever you're doing, even if you're going to school, you're working your job, you're doing it to the fullest. Cause one thing I learned, everybody can't be content creator, everybody can't be a podcaster, everybody
Yep.
can't be a doctor. Some people gotta clean the bathroom, some people gotta serve us food, some people gotta work in the fast food industry. So you just gotta be okay with that if that's what you so be to choose. And you gotta do it to the best of your ability. You
Yeah.
gotta, like you said, become better every single day and give yourself grace.
So you said something interesting, and like you said, some people are just meant to do different things that they probably don't want to do. But how can you? Let me say this. It's gonna be like a challenge and rebuttal. How can you, as a person, differentiate the two? Because, for instance, like you've been doing this for years, right?
Mhm.
If you've been doing something for years, how can you tell or advise somebody that's also been wanting to do something for years and it's just not working for them? So basically saying like, for instance, like I've seen you recently say that social media gotta work, right?
Right.
So how can you advise the next person and be like, this just ain't for you, but you have the mindset that it's gonna work for you. How are you able to differentiate the two?
First of all, you gotta understand the sequence of things and see what they're doing. You gotta analyze
Mhm,
because certain things aren't for everybody. So even if, because I see a lot of people on social media making music, doing content, and it's just not hitting. So you gotta find ways to self-evaluate to see what you're good at. And, you know, I've worked on my discernment over time. So I can tell what's good for somebody and what's not.
mhm,
And I'm okay with being real with that person because I tell content creator, artists, I'll be like, if I don't like what you're putting out, I'm gonna tell you
mhm.
because the world is gonna tell you if they don't like it. So you gotta be okay with being honest with people. Like I tell people all the time, when you come sit across from me, you gotta be ready to be honest and be open because I'm gonna bring it out of you,
Mhm.
whether you like it or not.
Yep.
And they gotta be real. You just gotta be real, bro. Like that's the best way I can express it. Cause it's been times where they're like, "Damn, I didn't know it from that perspective," or I could change certain things, or I'd be like, "Bro, I think this will work good for you," and it worked out for them. Be like, "Bro, you was right," and it's like I'm not there to be right. I just could see the things from a forefront.
Exactly. And I kind of, want to jump into the conversation of, through us communicating, we've gotten a lot closer over the years.
Right,
Before we probably wasn't as close. We really ain't know too much like we do now.
right.
Um, but just from, our encounterments over the past few years and us growing closer and building a stronger bond, what do you feel like is something that we both can work on?
Um, Procrastination. That I feel like that's something that I feel like we both kind of like falter because it could be times where me and Trey we could be hitting on all cylinders, and it could be times where he go through his bumps and I go through my bumps, and
Mhm,
I want to give him his flowers on this because him saying that, when I had the passing in my family, the two passings that like impacted me a lot, he was there for me.
mhm,
Uh, and he coached me through it a lot. Like even when I was going through my hardships, and I was telling him like he gave me motivation to kind of keep going, and I give him all much appreciation, respect for that because a lot of people wasn't there for me that been around me for years. Me and him, I know him since high school, but he just, hey, bro, you need me, you could call me, or he just called me out of blue. I'm in the gym. He like, bro, you good, bro? I'm just checking in and saying for him, like I told him, if he ever need me or anything he got going on, I'm gonna be there to support him full throttle. So just procrastination and just just staying the course because us as men, we go through a lot of stuff. Like we go through a lot of things throughout our daily lives. Even today I was going through stuff. It seems like every time I come sit down with him, I'm going through something crazy. And it's just like he always give me grace and I always give him grace as well. So procrastination is just the most thing. But I feel like with me and you, it's like we both know what we wanna do. We bounce off ideas off of each other, and it's like a brotherhood.
Yeah, for sure. And the only reason I asked that question is because, you know, people may not they don't see the behind the scenes of shit, you know what I mean?
Right,
And I asked that in order to go ahead and, just give you your flowers as I always do. It's like I gotta pay homage to you because you gave me the opportunity. Without the opportunity, I probably wouldn't had the vision of doing this. It probably would have came at a later time, but that was the opportunity that I kept rewinding. That
right,
same footage I had, And you'll say to this day the footage was messed up and all this other shit. That same footage is what gave me that idea because I've never been put in a space like that to be
Right,
vulnerable. So the only reason I asked you that is just to see if the accountability was still there as it was back then. You know what I mean? And
right,
I'm proud of where you have landed at because, like you said, we always see more. We always see the future. We always see different things to where we want to reach.
right.
But now, like I told you off the camera, I'm finna get on your ass because my thing is this, right? And a lot of people that may watch this may understand it and see it from a different perspective, and they may agree with me. Um, you know me, I'm tough, right?
Tough
And
as
I'm
nails.
tough as nails, whatever,
On and
whatever,
off camera.
on and off camera, right? So as I give you your flowers, I want to let you know that it's another level that you gotta hit.
Right.
And for you to reach that level, I want you to understand this, brother. You gotta cut a lot of trees.
Yeah.
You got a lot of fucking branches, bro.
Absolutely.
Got a lot of branches, and you can use that in any term or, metaphor that you wanna use. Branches could be people, it could be opportunities, it could be, just chances. You got a lot of them bitches, bro, and I give you that because I know what you're capable of. I know you can handle all the branches. But in order for you to get to that next level, that's what you gotta do. And we talk all the time off camera
Mhm.
about like, "All right, bro, this person, this and that, this opportunity, this and that." The same way I see myself at a top pedestal, I see you the same way, brother.
Right.
But you gotta cut these branches.
Nah, for sure.
So my question to you is, why do you have so many branches? Why are you keeping dead trees on your tree? What is the reason behind that?
That's a good analogy or a good way to put it. I would say for to answer that question or to answer that statement that you put out, I feel as though I see the good in people all the time. I try my best to put people in a position because some people are going through storms just as I. So you like we say, we gotta give people grace. But also too, I'm just such a giver or I'm such a person that loves people that I want to see people win.
Yeah.
So I feel as though once I help people, they'll get on their feet eventually. But I will say this, I have cut a lot of branches off. It just branches, I just got so it's just like a hoarder in a sense to where it's
Mhm,
like you have so many people coming in, you forgot all the people you forgot about throughout this process. And
mhm,
going back to what I was saying in the beginning of the podcast, me traveling, me being out of reach, out of touch, those branches became, I don't want to make it gardening, terminology, but those people or those things kind of got by the wayside. And as I came back to who I was or where I started, those roots started growing. And it's like, okay, I can add to that. But it's all about managing as well. Because yes, I do have people that are not so well, and I do have people that are great. You just got to take the good with the bad. And I feel as though the greatest people in the world all have a lot of branches, all have a lot of people that are weighing them down. But that's what comes in our community as Black people. We got a lot of people because you got to think artists, I said rappers, artists, NFL, NBA, soccer, hockey, any sport that have African American descent in it, we all feel like is our need to take care of the people
mhm,
that are around us. Even though we know we can't, we make that decision to do it because, we felt it as our duty to do it. So it made it tough for me, but I am working on that. That's something that me and my therapist, we talk about all the time because
mhm.
that's something I'm working on the boundaries, setting those boundaries. And I feel like me personally, I do that well. And off camera, he's off camera right now, but me and B-Roy, we talk about that all the time. He tells me the same thing. Like, and me sitting with these millionaires now, they say the same thing. If you want to get to that next level, you gotta cut those people off. So that's something that I'm working on for sure. You ain't wrong. I'll be the first one to say it. When somebody right, they right. He
Yeah, for
right
sure.
in
Yeah,
the absolute
it's just I see it from afar because you know me, bro. Like I'm out the way.
right.
It's very surprising to myself even today that I have a podcast because you've known me for before the podcast, and you know me now with the podcast, and
Same thing.
some it's the same thing. But it's like, damn, bro, I like to be in my own world. But once you come in true me in my bubble, if it's not good or if it's not peaceful,
Right.
you reap the consequences. Like we've had negatives throughout our time knowing each other. We've had positives, but at the same time, I'm always aware of everything that comes with everything I do.
Right.
Because the last thing I want is to be drained. I've been drained for so many years. You know what I mean? And how I view it is, okay, Nate is more of a positive energy than I am. I know. Listen, cause listen, be real now. Be real. You're more of a positive person than I am. I'm not saying I'm just a negative Nancy or a rude person, but like I help people, but I'm behind the scenes. You're more of a developer.
Right.
You are gonna build people that way. It shows. Your work shows. Your result shows. Artists, shit, community. I do mine behind the scenes. But what I'm trying to get to is as you're continuing to grow, bro, all these people that's right there at your hip, they gonna start holding on. You may not feel like it. You may be like, bro, that's all right, bro. They gonna grow eventually. Them motherfuckers gonna weigh you down, dog.
I feel as though I kind of agree to we can agree to disagree on that term because here's the thing. As you're growing and as you become in the lonely space that you're in, because I had lonely moments. Like I said, I had times where
Mhm.
I didn't have nobody
Yeah.
and I was helping everybody. Like I said before, but now I've became more strict though about who I'm giving my energy to. So it's like, for instance, it's been times where I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna go do this just this one time. But after that, I'm not doing it no more. Before I couldn't say that. And there's been times like, I'll help you, but if you're not on time or if you wasting my time, I'm going home. So yes, they might hold on, but it's just like I tell people all the time. My new saying is if you're not on this train, you're just gonna get ran over. That's plain and simple. And a lot of people heard me say that. This is not the first time I've said that. And my goal is, and my motto for 2026 is I gotta get it by any means necessary because if I don't do it, who will? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about this and that. I got the bumpers on. I'm the bowling ball. I'm just going straight. So even if I veer off left, veer off right, I know my end goal. I know what I want to do. Last time, like I said, last time I sat down with you, I didn't have a clear vision. Now I know where I want to go. Now I know what I'm trying to attack. Now I know the things I'm trying to push. And like I said, just sitting here with you, I could see the growth from you and me and have you led on to me. And to piggyback off what you said earlier about me growing, it's just my name just plastered everywhere. It's just they know when I connect with somebody, even with you or somebody else, it just go up from there because I just know how to help people. It's just in me. Like I watch superhero shows all the time. Like I said, I'm the Haitian superhero or some shit. I don't know, but I just feel like whatever I do, I'm just here to help. And it
Yeah.
it, it might be a downfall because, for instance, right, I was watching The Defenders before I came here, like a couple hours ago, and Daredevil was like, "I'm not leaving until the mission is complete," and that's just who I am. Like I'm ready to help whatever, even if it's gonna cost me.
Yeah. So you're willing to take that sacrifice every single time.
Yeah, because I'm just like you. I know the consequences of my actions. I hold myself accountable for whatever decision I make, because I was watching. Like I said before, I'm an avid listener of podcasts. So I watch and I listen and I learn from other podcasters and other guests as well. And Young and they said it best. I'd rather do it on my own will than letting you drag me a part of it.
Yeah.
So if I choose to go do something with Tread Truth, that's my decision.
Mhm.
If you try to beg me along, I'm gonna make decisions to say no. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that some of them branches was gone because,
Yeah, they got clipped for sure.
boy, I tell you, boy, you know what I mean? I, high hopes for the both of us.
For
But
sure.
I had to learn myself. You know what I
Nah,
mean? Just being in the space as a young black man is like you want to be Superman. You want to be. It's not even because everybody will see you as Superman. It's because that's what you naturally have in your heart. But boy, that shit draining, boy.
it is.
You feel
And
me?
it took me a while to be like, all right, I'm done. Like,
Mhm.
I'm done with everybody. I literally, it's people to this day I still don't talk to, and I'm okay with it. Like,
Mm.
before I try to make everybody feel comfortable, everybody feel good about themselves, but it's like, bruh, like, get out the way. Like, you not trying to help this, or you not trying to do nothing for me, or you, like, not do nothing for me, but you ain't trying to be a part of the journey, just step out the way.
For sure.
And like I said, like, I know my power, so it's like, once I remove myself from that branch is gonna eventually fall off on its own. So it's like, I'm just moving, bro, just enjoying life as much as I can and building myself up. Cause like I told a couple other people, I said, if I didn't take care of myself, I wouldn't have been able to travel to 12 different places in a whole year.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be able to see different things that I've seen if I was still worrying about the next man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cause I invested a lot into a lot of people. And once took them investments away and put them investments in myself, it's been great.
So what? So that's my follow up question for you. So like, what has traveling and investing in yourself really? What has it really showed you? Like as far as in like you subtracted from something else from somewhere else to plug into somewhere else. What has that taught you?
It 10x everything because now I'm able to talk from different experiences and me sitting down with you was like I was in the midst of that, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Being able to get on a plane and do a solo trip by myself, nobody, and it be able to move how I want to move was amazing. To see how other people live and it makes you appreciate stuff a lot more. It made me come home with a fire to where it's like, all right, now it's time to do these solo episodes. It put a battery in my back. Being able to save money and I get into a financial hardship, it's not hard for me to pull from somewhere and be able to grow
Yeah.
and see my money just 10x. It's like, damn, like if I was doing this before, it's just different. But it's like I feel like everything happens for a reason. You gotta
Yeah.
go through those hard times and investing into other people and going through those hardships for you to be like, all right, nah, all right, I'm gonna stay away from that. Now I'm gonna put in time with myself. Just man, sitting in those different countries and looking at those different, like, sceneries is different,
For
you know?
sure. And I want to piggyback off what you said. Like you said you have to go through these things in order to grow. You know me, I'm a listener of Inky Johnson. That's my boy.
For
Like
sure.
you feel me? So it's crazy you said it because I think I posted it. It was either yesterday or shit, probably was last night. I posted on Instagram in my notes, and it was a saying that he said. He said the route you hate is the route you need.
Yep.
And I feel like that's very true because it's a lot of things that I hated to do, boy. Working for all these small ass places or, having to put in the ground where other people could just receive it like that. But that's what I needed in order to get to the place where I am now. And it's a lot of routes that I still have that I hate,
Right.
but I need it in order to build that discipline. So my next question for you is, you made it through your hardship. Well, but what advice would you give to the other people that have gone through hardships, whether it be emotionally, financially? What advice would you give to them?
First of all, I'm still going through the storm.
Mhm.
I'm still going through the storm every day. Just try your best to, like Trey said, give yourself grace as much as you can. Try to look at the bright side of things because even though it's tough, it's always gonna get brighter. Like I was saying before on a couple of my solo episodes, it's been times where I had to put $100 away, so I had to eat cereal, and I don't even eat cereal or eat noodles or eat ground beef and tortillas just so I could save money, put money aside, so when I go to Colombia or when I go to Houston or when I go to Puerto Rico or wherever I'm trying to go, I can have the money to do that. A lot of people don't wanna make that sacrifice. Sacrifice is the key to everything you want. If you just stay down for 30 days, 90 days, 60 days, and you make those little investments or those little sacrifices, it'll change. Because Imma let y'all in on a little personal story. I was saving. I don't know why, it prone me to save. I was like, "Let me save some money. Let me put some money aside just in case something happened." And I ran low. I paid all my stuff, and I'm like, "Damn, I don't know how Imma make it this week." I went back to my little envelopes that I had for a rainy day. It was a rainy day, and I was able to take care of everything. And because bills don't stop, family don't stop asking for stuff, things don't stop because you're having a hard time. You gotta save for the pullbacks. You gotta save for those rainy days. You gotta save for those dark moments. And now I told myself, because I'm all about self-evaluation. That's what I harp on. Now it's time to get back to pulling it back. Let's scale it back. Let's hold on. Cause now you getting a little loose. It's time to scale back and do what you need to do. So that was my biggest thing. And just keep pushing. It's gonna be hard. Like Trey said before, success, when you're going through success, you're gonna go through a lot of hardships, a lot of BS. But you gotta find ways to make yourself happy. You gotta find ways to see the bright side of things because it's never gonna be easy. It's always gonna be hard, whether you're at the top or at the bottom. So choose your hard.
Yeah, that's facts. I mean, like even to this day, people. Matter of fact, I'm gonna piggyback off of what my previous guest said, Ricky. He basically said success. No, he said failure is way more important than success. And when he said, I was like,
Right.
damn, like, what you mean by that? But then he broke it down. I'm like, damn, like you really won't cherish success or you won't cherish your accomplishments if you never really failed at them. Because if you keep winning, you ain't gonna know what it feel like to lose. And when you lose shit, you might just want to give up. But when you fail, it gives you that battery in your back to be like, okay, I understand this shit on a different level now. I won't ever make this same mistake. And if I do, I know how to counter it. But I ain't really think about it. It didn't really hit me until he left out of here. And I'm like, damn, what he like,
I know exactly what
damn,
he
like,
meant.
and it really had me think, like, I be telling people all the time, like you gonna fuck up. It's hard. It's gonna always be hard. You're gonna always have to level up. You always gonna have to face challenges. But I never really thought of it from that aspect. Like, as I'm telling everybody, you're gonna experience hardship. I never really told them like to just cherish it, because once you win, like even to this day now, like I talk with my therapist. I got a therapist too, and I told her, I was like, I got the money I wanted, but what the fuck to do with it now?
Right.
And I'm like, she's like, yeah. She's like, that's how it is. If you only value the currency, if you only value the idea of having money, you won't know what the fuck to do with it. You won't know how to make it more successful for yourself. Because, bro, we all want money, bro.
We all want money.
We all want money. I was struggling. It's crazy because when season 2 ends, in my little recap, I got a screenshot I'm gonna put in the trailer. And this is a behind the scenes. It's a conversation. It's gonna happen. But
Oh, well.
I know you're too busy watching the episode, but just take a moment and look at the link down below. Make sure you subscribe to the Truth Lounge. Make sure you join the Truth family. Living your truth. This is the perfect place to be, and I appreciate you for tuning in and watching the episode. This
Hey,
is it. This is
go
everybody.
back to episode 3. I'm telling y'all gotta go back to episode 3. My dog say somebody gave him some in the grocery store.
That was that
That was
same
the
year.
shining light.
That was the year after that. And I'm like, bro, I came a long way, bro, from just wanting $500 to my name. Now I got over $500 times whatever,
Bit money.
and it don't feel like nothing. That's not success. I thought that was always success. Having the money, being able to do whatever you want. That's not success, bro. But now that I heard that from Ricky, and he's a successful entrepreneur, and he's telling me to cherish and failures is more important. I'm like, damn, boy, that put a battery in my back, boy.
Nah,
You just don't
definitely.
know. So my next question for you is, bro, how do you? I want to go into the entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? Because we always have conversations with this. How do you handle the challenges with your platforms? Because you have more than one. So how do you handle the challenges as far as like when shit ain't working?
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because we talking about growing, we talking about elevating, and we talking about hardship. But how do you handle those challenges for other people that want to be creators or other people that are creators? How do you handle those challenges?
Let me bounce back 1 second about the failure and success. I've been reading a lot more lately. I kind of slacked off just a little bit, but I've been reading a lot more. And my favorite basketball player of all time, and argue with yourself, don't argue with me, is Derrick Rose. He inspired me a lot as a kid growing up.
Damn, not Anthony Edwards. You came here with an Anthony Edwards shirt the
No,
last
and
time. See,
this
see,
this
see, you
this
you switching up. But go ahead. I ain't even gonna go ahead.
disclaimer. Derrick Rose been my favorite player since I was a jit. He retired. I'm with Anthony Edwards now. I'm still an avid Chicago Bulls fan. Nobody can tell me different. Now, with that being said, I was reading his book and he talked about how he had success early on. He had
Mhm.
so much success. He didn't know what failure looked like until he tore his ACL the first time. And he still was trying to work hard to get back to the success. He tore his knee again. So those 2 injuries made him sit back and cherish everything he got. So that made me realize when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I didn't cherish it. When I got the interviews that I wanted to get, I didn't cherish it. The things that I wanted to do, I didn't cherish them because I wanted so much more. And then when I got stagnant and then I started losing myself, I had to go back like, damn, I did sit down with Ed Reed, a Hall of Famer. Even though it was for 10 minutes, a lot of people never got close to him. I sat down with a
Mhm.
famous actor who was in the movie I was watching before I even met him. And I was like, damn, I did this, I did that. I sat down with this person. And it just made me realize, like, damn, I did a lot
Yep.
and I didn't cherish it. And then my journey from 4,000 to 5,000 was tough. And I was only 300 away. And I'm like, what can I do? Cause like you said, if I didn't realize or if I didn't sit with myself and actually enjoy the journey between those two, I would have never knew what it felt like, but it put a battery in my back. So to go into the question you just asked me about when it's not working, you just got like I tell everybody, like, you just gotta find ways to reinvent yourself. Because if we go back to the run of Kai Cenat or David Shands or Michael Jordan or any public figure that we enjoy, Oprah Winfrey, anybody that we enjoy, they went through reconstruction phase. They went through reinventing themselves in different ways to make it fresh. Because stuff get boring over time. We get bored with stuff. Like, people don't wanna be real about that. They get
Mhm,
bored. So, with that being said, you just gotta find ways to reinvent yourself, and I tell the artists that I'm involved with, I tell my because I have a new clothing brand called Tizzy. I tell my Tizzy brand owners that I work with, I tell everybody that I work with, even if they're doing podcasts, social media, you gotta find ways to reinvent yourself. So, I like dramatic exits and dramatic entrances. So, I said, "Imma put on a suit." 'Cause I like dressing up, and I'm not gonna care what nobody gotta say about it. The only reason why I ain't coming here with a full four-piece suit, 'cause I wanted to rock the bird, 'cause I like supporting the brand. So, I found ways to, like, reinvent myself, and then just going into I didn't wanna talk about rap music, I didn't wanna talk about sports no more, I wanted to talk about stuff that mattered. I wanted to talk about stuff that was hitting me every single day, that could touch people, and it just was a wave of people just touching in. Cause you gotta think, we get inside our head. Cause 'cause I'm like, "Damn, I don't want people to feel like I'm being like Trey. I don't want people to, like, judge me, cause 'cause I'm doing solo episodes, and I don't want people to feel like I know better than them." So, I just sat on the camera, and I just talked about stuff that I wanted, and it worked. So, you just gotta find ways to reinvent yourself, and once again, you gotta look in the mirror and self-evaluate yourself and see where you wanna be.
mhm. Well, talk about it then. What played a role in that? Because like you said before, people know you as somebody that interview artists. People know you as someone that put together, music events and things of that nature. So how was it like how was the expansion like? How was it like, how did people respond? How did you take their responses? How did you take the different results? How did you, examine the entire situation? Because a lot of people, they like what they like. And when somebody try to expand out, they're like, oh, hell no. It's the same thing like me going from a promoter to a podcaster.
Right,
I lost a lot of fucking followers. Some people only like me for my parties.
right,
Some people only like you for your artist development.
right.
They may not like the mental health, part of what you're trying to do now. So how did you handle that?
I grew a strong community but with the artists and with people to where it's like whatever I do, they support it.
Mhm,
So it wasn't hard for me to transition because I was doing solo episodes. People just wasn't paying attention to them because the guests I was bringing on were overshadowing them.
mhm,
But like I tell people all the time, if you click on YouTube, you go popular. I got two artists, and then the next two are solo episodes. So my solo episodes were reaching a lot more people than my my guest episodes.
mhm,
So I said, why not? The worst they can say is, I don't like it," but it's 8 billion people in this world
mhm,
that haven't seen me, ever heard of me, ever even knew that I had a podcast. So if I could reach those people, and once the emails started ringing in and people from Canada, North Carolina, Boston, they reaching out to me, "Oh, I wanna come sit down with you. The episode you did was so amazing," like, talking about mental health, talking about suicide, talking about those things. So it's like you can't worry about your immediate circle or
mhm.
Florida. It's Boston, Canada, Maine, all these different places around
Yeah,
that, that'll support you
for
genuinely.
sure. Yeah, for sure. I always tell people it only take one person.
One person,
That's all it takes.
literally.
And I had to grow on me because with promoting and doing that for so many years as I did, I'm used to seeing the big crowds. I'm used to seeing the big results because that's what you look for.
Right,
But now being in this space, I had to learn like one viewer ain't bad. That's one person that took the time out to even click on it
right,
because they could have just kept scrolling.
right.
So now I cherish all the little things. But going back on what you just said, savoring every moment, every
Every
accomplishment that
moment.
you have. Like I think I also heard from Ricky as well too. He was like, when you achieve something, it's like a canvas that you put on the wall. You don't go taking down the canvases and throw them away once you achieve them. You paint that picture, you put them up, and you look back at it.
Right.
You don't never be like, all right, that canvas, oh, this a year old. No, because it's people to this day, if you want to be real, it's people with old ass art in their house.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they love it.
Right.
But if you think that way with your achievements, you'll be able to begin to just devour and just understand that everything you did, bro, you winning.
The and
It's somebody out there that quit. It's somebody out there that want to do what you're doing, and it's somebody out there that can't fuck with you. So you gotta have your foot on the pedal every single fucking time. Just look back at what you did. That's all that matters.
I wanna piggyback off that, and I be trying to I try to, like, be, a lot more professional now as I'm trying to, kind of
Uh,
correlate the image, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, like I tell people, you gotta understand, right? From what I was doing from what I was doing, it's hard to get people to sit down and watch a podcast.
oh, they don't understand that though.
It's hard to get somebody to
Mhm,
listen to you.
mhm.
So when you get 20 views, 30 views, 100 views, that's you done changed somebody's life.
20 people in the room. That's a lot of people.
Hey, and I tell people all the time, y'all can have whatever y'all have. I'm here for the long run. I'm here to stay.
Mhm,
You can laugh, you can joke, you can say whatever you wanna say.
mhm.
But I know I've changed people's lives genuinely, whether that's on or off camera or even if they're sitting across from me. So when I sit there and I talk to my therapist and I like I tell people, I don't like my 9 to 5. So I'm reiterated, the content has to work for me. And the reason why I say that is because I know I can change people's lives because I've done it over time and it's been transferable. So I just feel as though nobody really can mess with me. Honestly, I ain't gonna sit here and say it. I ain't gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. I know nobody, but I'm humble because I know where I came from. So I can say that in the most humblest way. And this guy sitting right here next to me, nobody can mess with him either. I tell people that all the time. And even when we sit down or when I do my podcast, I always try to, you know, shadow that or mimic that or diddle it, because I know what he's done and I know the work he put in. I know the long nights and the early mornings he put in. He put in the same type of grind I put in. And sometimes not even more. It's been times I don't know how he make time in the day. Cause he be like, hey, bruh, this shit don't look right. You need to fix this. And I'm like, you paying attention to my content? Well, you got 50 other things you could be doing. So that just goes to show like the work you put in, people notice it and they gonna hold you accountable. I got a lot of people in my corner that hold me accountable. They like,
Mhm.
bro, Nate, you better than this. You could do this and you could do that. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this shit today. But there's a life I
Do it.
chose.
Gotta do it. Every decision that we make, every action we make is gonna come with a consequence and a responsibility that we have to face. No matter what it is, no matter who it is, no matter where it's at, soon as you make that decision, it's a lot of bullshit that's gonna come with it. And it's a lot of good shit that's gonna come with it. But you gotta be the person that is able to face it without making no excuses. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody got time for that shit. Like nobody care about you crying. Nobody care about you making excuses for some shit that you wanted to do.
Nope.
And a lot of people got to learn that. So my next question to you is, I want to take it back because, like you said, you're able to, over time see that you help people. You're able to see that you made an impact in today's society,
Right.
regardless if it's big to most people, regardless if it's small to most people. You made an impact. So my thing is, I want you to tap in with that same man or that same kid that you was at your lowest moment. What advice would you give to that person right now?
Man, lil Nate, I'll tell him it ain't gonna rain forever. It's gonna be tough, but just trust yourself. Don't try to fit in because when I was growing up, I was trying to fit in with everybody. I was trying to be cool with everybody.
Mhm.
And I was trying to fit
But
in
why
and
though?
because I wanted to be cool. I wanted to sag my pants. I wanted to get all the girls. I wanted to sell drugs. I wanted to smoke weed. I wanted to do all that stuff. But when I realized that's not me, I can't live that life. I'm not strong enough to live that life. That's when I made the decision. Like, all right, I'm gonna tell you what I like, and if you like what I like, it's cool. If you don't, I'm cool with that because a lot of people make fun of me, or a lot of people say certain stuff like, "Oh, how you don't know this about Orlando, bro?" I wasn't. My mind was in New York. My mind was in Disney Channel. I was watching WWE. Like,
Mhm,
I wasn't paying attention to Orlando rappers. I didn't give a damn about that.
mhm.
So to tell younger Nate, just stick to the course, enjoy every moment, because I felt like everybody can attest to this. We all rush, try to grow up. We want to be grown. We want to drive. Nigga, that shit suck. All that shit sucks. You don't want to be an adult. You don't want to pay tolls. You don't want to pay tickets. You don't want to pay car insurance. You don't do that. Enjoy the fruits of your labor because it was just one girl I used to mess with. She tried to push me to be an adult, and I tell people this all the time, and I tell her I was like, "No, I don't wanna be an adult, I wanna be a kid, I wanna chase my NFL dreams," but if I could tell Nate this too, enjoy sports and get out of there. Don't harp on it, find something else to do, and as you can see, you made it out alive. You didn't die. You didn't be a product of your environment. You seeing the world from your perspective, and you chasing the dreams that you want to chase. So just stay the course.
And that's good that you're able to advise your younger self because most people, like, I feel like if I was to ask most people that question, they'll freeze up. Like, most people don't even know what they'll say because they don't have words. Sometimes some people are just so surprised they're at where they're at now that they don't even know what they would say. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people can't go back and tap in with that younger person or that younger self and just be honest and be
I'll
and
give my younger self a hug, and we probably cry together. Probably be sad because we know what we no, we wouldn't be sad. We'll be happy, tears of joy because he be like, damn. Like I always like I be having this conversation when I be alone. I be like, damn, the old Nick could never. Like he could never do what I could do now
Mhm,
or be open with the things that I do and be okay with the consequences because it's hard for us to take accountability for our own actions. It's very
mhm,
hard. But I've learned to be like, yeah, I messed up. I even called you the conversation we had last week. I'm like, I messed up bad.
mhm,
But it's like you gotta be okay with those
yeah,
conversations. You gotta be okay with those consequences.
mhm.
And you just gotta take what come with it.
So what makes you okay with them though? Like,
Cause
what? Because like, I feel like a lot of people, they dwell too much on the negativity of things. I feel like a lot of people, and I was watching Steve Harvey, his I think it's his old show, or whatever. I don't know. It's probably new, but I seen him tell somebody today, and he was basically saying that, when you don't forgive somebody or a situation, it's like you drinking the poison and waiting for the other person to die.
right,
Because a lot of people will sit and be like, man, I ain't forgiving that shit. I'm not accepting that shit. I ain't know that shit foul. But they don't understand that that's just eating at them.
right.
So how are you able to accept all of that?
Um, because I know that I'm like I said before, I made the decision, so I gotta be okay with that decision. I can't be like, oh, it's Trey fault when I was throwing the rocks, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And to forgive somebody, like there's a lot of people that done me wrong throughout the past. But I ain't even mad at them. I don't really care because at the end of the day, they can't mess with me. They ain't doing what I'm doing. They probably sad, depressed, and I wish them the best. I hope they get the help that they want to get. I hope, they doing what they supposed to be doing. Cause at the end of the day, I'm still the villain. It has not changed.
Mhm,
So I'd rather be the villain role and be okay with that rather than try to save everybody. Cause I ain't saving nobody no more. You either get on this train, like the Polar Express, or you get ran over.
mhm,
And Imma leave it at that, like, for me.
mhm. Make sure y'all tap into episode 5, man. That's where he said that famous quote that he loves and use majority of the time. He enjoys being the villain. Make sure
I
you
do.
check out episode 5. I know we on what? Damn. Look, I'm on like 30. I'm on 30 plus right now. We on 30 something. But make sure you check out episode 5 and make sure you check out the very first episode that I did with him. I don't even know what it's called. I think it's under my Instagram name.
Yeah,
It's like One Real Trace something. Make sure you go watch that episode too. But yeah, bro, I'm proud of you, bro, because I feel like between our last episode that we had here, you've grown a lot. You know what I mean? And just being able to give yourself a little bit more release with traveling and stuff like that. I know that's stuff that we talked about doing and stuff that we had envisioned for ourselves, but we never took action. But now you're taking that action.
right.
You know what I mean? And just so y'all know, y'all probably gonna see this late, but me and that boy gonna be in Houston at the same time. Who
Facts.
would have fucking known? Who would have known? But I also want to ask you this, bro. You know, since you're getting into the mental health lane and expressing your thoughts and feelings about that, what do you feel like is something that, ties in with your upbringing or ties in with other people upbringing that they need to think about when it comes to mental health? So basically what I'm saying is what kept you sane? You know what I mean? You got a therapist late, you started being, vulnerable late. So through your hardship, what kept you sane?
I was always vulnerable. I was I was always an emotional kid. I just always try to suppress it,
Mhm,
not bring it to the light. But I will say this, what kept me sane, I just kept finding ways to make myself happy, whether that's we're reading, journaling, sports,
Mhm.
whether that's going out, doing stuff that I like to do, going to the carnivals, going to the juves, doing stuff like that, just finding ways to kind of let go of those feelings. But now as I'm getting older, because my birthday just passed, as I get older, I I'm trying to learn how to do it the proper way and
I
learning
was
that.
gonna ask because it sounds like you replacing it with temporary
Yeah.
things.
So and when that goes back to self acknowledging and self improvement and self awareness, I was like, okay, I'm replacing this with stuff that probably is not the best for me. So let me go figure out how ways I can, do it the right way. And it comes a time where you gotta implement those things. You can do therapy all day, but you have to implement those things and be mindful of what you're doing because it was an instance I was going through something and my first reaction would be to snap. And I learned the fast method, which is the first method is stop. Well, not it's the fast method and the stop method. So the first method is stop. Think before you speak. So before Trey, if I come at Trey and Trey's yelling at me, I'm not finna cuss him out. I'ma stop and let him think and validate him
Mhm,
and let him feel how he gonna feel. And I'ma say my piece and I'ma let it go. So you gotta find ways to do things to make you feel because I would feel better cussing him out. Don't get me wrong, that's never gonna leave my mind, but you gotta there's 3 different mindsets. There's a reasonable mind, there's a mindful mind, and there's an emotional mind. And what I've learned is 95% of the time we're always in our emotional mind
mhm,
because we feel how we gonna feel.
mhm,
But sometimes we gotta think with reason. Maybe Trey's just having a bad day. Maybe he's just projecting on me and I'm not really the problem. And that's what I had to learn.
mhm.
So it taught me a lot of it's teaching me a lot of self-control. It's teaching me not to react because, like I said, I was going through something this morning, and the old me would be like, "Ah," but I was like, "Okay, you all right? You good? Don't snap. It's not your fault.
Mhm.
That person is probably having a rough day." But I've learned. So you just gotta use what you've learned and implement in your everyday life.
Yeah, it's just controlling the controllables. Like it's a lot of shit that we can't control in our life that it'll piss us off, but it's up to you how you respond. I tell people all the time, your responses to anything and everything will determine how your life will go. And
Correct.
that's with any small situation. Cause I think a lot of people I don't really see small as small no more. Like me, for instance, I don't want to get into the details, but me and you we've been a part of a situation
Right.
that occurred,
Right.
and it may seem like a small situation, but to me,
It was big.
it's big.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my response off it was valid, but
Right.
to the next person, that may seem so small that they don't respect it.
Correct.
But that's the certain things that you got to kind of look at. Like for instance, like you said, having boundaries. There's certain things you ain't gonna go for, but you can handle your boundaries in a certain way. You can handle it emotionally,
Right.
mindful, or respectful. I believe that's what you said, respectfully.
Yeah.
But it's my point is this. I'm glad that you understand that because it's a lot of things in life that's gonna happen to the both of us and to people that we know. And the way we respond could change our whole life. We may be encountering somebody for the first time and they may disrespect us, and they may know somebody that we need to cross paths with. But if we handle it in the right approach, maybe whenever that person calms down, they can see us on a level situation, and that blessing can happen.
I've learned that, and I sat down. I had a conversation with somebody, and they I was just. And the thing is, I was giving them something. It's
Mhm.
not like I was asking for something. I was giving them something, and they was like, "Nah, bro, get out my face." And I was like, the old me would have snapped, but I was like, you know what? I'll take that because at the end of the day, like you said, we don't know what's going to happen, and sometimes we don't understand what other people are going through or what they're fighting
Mhm.
or what they got going on. Or some people just feel like it is what it is because there's a lot of people that I've known that have bigger platforms that are doing their thing. And shout out to them. I don't want to name drop because they're not really that important. But they were supposed to sit down with me. We were supposed to have a conversation, and I counted on other people to kind of help me grow. And when I had to come to that realization, like we say, nobody coming to save me. That's when I had to stick my foot in the mud and really put in the work. And those same people that I see to this day, or I cross paths with, they're like, "Bro, you've been doing your thing, bro." And that's all I could do because all we got is our word as men.
Mhm.
All we got is ourself as men. Because once again, when you go down, you don't got no bump bed. They ain't going with you. They might die
No
with you, but they ain't going with you.
No Sirski. Not at all, not at all, not at all. And that's one of the hardest things to realize in life is that you spend most of your years in your life, especially as a black man wanting to and having to provide for others and sacrificing yourself to know that at the end of the day you're gonna die alone.
Right.
And everything that you worked hard for and everything that you put forth energy to is still gonna be on earth while you're gone. That's the
Facts.
biggest pill to swallow as a man, even as a black man, as a man in general. That's one of the biggest pills to swallow. But we are getting close to the episode. It's some things I want to say to you at the end, but I still have to keep my ritual going, brother. You already know what I'm gonna ask. I need my three truths. Matter of fact, yeah, I was gonna switch it up, but nah, I need my three truths.
Believe in yourself. Um, Stop being a people pleaser.
Mhm.
Um, and trust the process. Those are my three truths.
And Could
Cause
you
the
could
rain
you
don't last
yeah,
forever.
could you expand on all those if you can?
Um, because one thing that I learned and I'm working on it every single day is my walk with God.
Mhm,
And it's only you and him at the end of the day. Not your girlfriend, not your kids, nobody. It's only you and him. He the only person that's gonna guide you to the next step and the next level. That's something that I learned. And trusting yourself is like the biggest thing because if you can't trust yourself, then you can't trust nobody.
mhm,
Uh, and trusting the process, because the process gonna take you through so much loops and hoops and ups and downs. You just gotta trust that whatever you doing, you gotta have a clear vision to it. And what is the last thing I said?
that was it.
Oh, okay. I was just
Mhm,
making sure I
yeah,
hit all the
yeah, unless you got something else you wanna add on.
uh once again, man, shout out to Tree of Truth. This the GOAT right here. He hold me accountable.
Two-headed goat, man, me and
And
Nate.
that man, he really doing his thing. Like,
Mhm,
I'm proud of all the accomplishments because Imma be honest with y'all, I ain't never think he was gonna have a guest on here at all. But to see the volume and to see the people that he's brought on here and the stories that they have been telling, it's just amazing to see. And he one of the people that keep me motivated because one thing I will say, and people take this the wrong way every time, but there's nothing wrong with a healthy competition. There's nothing wrong with seeing your brother win or your sister win or just somebody that you hold dear to you to win because they could put fuel in you.
mhm,
And he's putting so much fuel in me to do what I've done, even though I'm ahead in a sense, but we still fighting the same fight. We all trying to reach the same goal, and that's reaching people. So the amount of people he has reached and the amount of people that he has touched throughout this podcast has been amazing to see because if we go back to the first ever time me and him ever sat down, he was not even thinking about doing this. So just to see what he has done with what he has have brought to the table is just amazing. And
mhm,
to the people out there who watch this platform, keep your head on the swivel. I know it's been tough with all the things that's been going on in the world, but you, like I said, keep God first and just keep focusing on what you want to do because it's going to be tough
mhm.
as you level up. It's going to get tough because when I first started YouTube, I was like, oh, I hit 1,000, I'm going to be rich. And I'm at 5,000. I still ain't quite there yet, but hey, we getting there. So just shout out to everybody and just keep pushing.
Yeah, for sure, and, you know, I want y'all to understand this too. As much as it seems so peaceful with me and Nate, like, right now as we speaking, behind the scenes, it's like he said, it's that tough competition, it's that tough love. We be on each other ass, you know what I mean? Like, pause, but like we hold each other very, very accountable. Like, for instance, if I go missing, he gonna call, well, hey, bro, what you doing? If I'm doing something wrong, hey, bro, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I'm the same exact way. So find people in your community that will hold you accountable. Find people that will uplift you, but also want to see you win, even if they're not winning on the same level.
Right.
That's the most important thing. And my truth, because I never do this, my truth is by the time y'all see this episode, my community will be totally different. I'm closing shop. I'm starting over because my biggest thing in life right now that I'm understanding, I hate that I understood this at an age I am now. I'm 25 years old, and I realized that everybody that's close to me, they do not want to see me win.
Facts. Oh my God. Hey,
And
facts.
everybody that's close to me, I'm gonna tell y'all why. And I hate to
Facts.
even do this, but It's people that's in my immediate circle where I get the clothes off my back. I give them my motherfucking room if I could. I give them my fucking car. These same people, I do something that's free. And I'm basically tying this into support. But these same motherfuckers, say if I wanted to become a rapper or anything, they'll go post all these niggas that don't know them. The little babies, the visas, the yachties. They'll post all these. I see this shit to this day. I got homeboys that I've gave my last to. I showed up for. They won't even repost me, bro. They won't like nothing, but they'll watch my story. That's why I say they don't want to see me win because I'm gonna tell you this. Seeing somebody win comes in different forms. A lot of forms could take, sometimes it could take currency, sometimes it could take time. But the quickest way to see somebody win is word of mouth.
Facts.
By you saying somebody's name in a room where you comfortable in, man, that could take somebody to the next level. And I'm gonna tell you this, I can tell you right now, 85% of my community would never do that. But they'll come to me and be like, bro, you need to do this.
Hey, facts. Hey, listen. Let
Hey,
me tell you something.
hey.
I like to throw people under the bus. And I wasn't gonna do it, but since he said it, he opened up the gate real quick. 'Cause I know we getting to the end. One time, right? It was a reel I seen on Instagram. They was like, people won't support you, but they'll tell you all the things you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one time, shout out my uncle. He know I'm gonna call him out. We call each other all the time. He called me. He like, nephew, you need to get you a Sprinter van, and you need to put cameras in it. You need to do Finding Little Baby podcast and all that. And I'm like, bruh, have you watched what I've been doing? He
Mm-hmm.
like, nah, but this is what you supposed to do. And I'm like, how you gonna tell me how I'm supposed to do it? Or they'll tell me, oh, you monetize. How much money you making? And it's like, that's all you care about? Did you care about the message I put out there? Did you see the guests that I had? How
Mm-hmm.
they made $1 million?
Mm-hmm.
How we supposed to be trying to change the world? Or even, for instance, I went to go feed the homeless. Nobody was like, "Oh, let me donate.
Mm-hmm.
Let me come help you pass our plates." They were just like, "Oh, you should have did this or you should have did that." Or why you didn't call me?
You telling me what I should have did when you never been in my position before. I'm telling, hey, this is real. This is real time shit. Before you even got here, I had to get on one of my homeboys about that shit. You feel me? Like nigga telling me, "Hey, bro, you should reach out to him. Y'all follow each other." I say, "All right, I'm gonna show you something real quick." I say, "This is me sending a message to somebody that's on a bigger platform." I'm gonna tell you, I say, "You got to understand shit from a different lens." I'm an up and coming podcaster. People may know me, but they don't give a fuck about what I do. They
Nope.
know me. Just cause I follow them, that don't mean they gonna fuck with me. Like that shit don't mean nothing. But I said, you know this person, you hung out with this person, you done broke bread with this person, but you want me to do, you want me to reach out when you know them? I said, go say my name. Nah, bro, you got it.
That's
I ain't
how I
gonna go
be.
into details. But listen, my community gonna be different. And if you feel some type of way and you made it to the end of this episode and you feel like this is about you, so be
So
it.
be it.
Fuck you. I don't give a hey, my community gonna be different because I know what I bring and I know who I am and the results show. So if you ain't got nothing else to say, brother,
Hey, Trey True said it the best. I say it the most nicest way I can. If you're not on the train, you gonna get ran over. Simple as that. And I said this the last time we sat down. This is gonna be somebody I make $1 million with one day.
mhm,
It's coming. It's coming faster than you think.
mhm.
So we just gotta stay the course. We gotta stay focused and stay away from them women. They gonna ruin everything.
Hey, I'm glad it's there because he trying to make a turn that I don't want to make. Hey, I love all my women out there, all shapes, colors, sizes, whatever.
I love women too, but
I love y'all all. I don't think y'all do no harm. Um, cause I ain't gonna lie,
he
bro.
he he
Women,
he not telling the truth.
hey, women,
Our
women,
greatest soldiers have been
women,
knocked down by women.
women are my
Daredevil,
biggest supporters right now, fam. So I'm not gonna do that. We not
you
doing that,
still
bro.
gotta be honest.
We not doing that, bro.
Alright, I'm sorry.
We ain't doing it. You got to say sorry for real, bro. Be truthful. That wasn't a true sorry.
Nah, I'm just playing. Shout out to all the women out there. You know I love joking and trolling with you women, but eventually when I have my girls talk again, there's gonna be a lot of hurt feelings. It's gonna be a lot of great conversations. So that's a exclusive. Stay tuned for that.
And by the time y'all see this episode, I think it may be probably close to the end of April. I could be wrong. I don't know for sure. However, um, some big news coming up.
Yes, sir.
Big, big news.
Yes, sir.
And It may be before this episode, it may be after. I don't know what's gonna happen, but stay tuned. And y'all know how I am with the outro. Gone.
Gone.